So you get injured at work or near work or going to work or because of work. And for some reason, the insurance company is denying your claim because there isn't what they call a causal connection or a causal relationship. Isn't it enough that you were injured at work? Not always. Hello, everyone. This is Britt Morrell with Colorado law firm Kaplan Morrell. We've been helping injured and disabled workers and their families get the benefits they deserve for work injuries since 1997. If this video helped you, be sure to hit like and subscribe, or even comment below. We'd love for you to be part of our online community. So in this video, I'm going to discuss with you what a causal relationship is and why it's necessary in order for you to have an admitted work injury claim. Workers' compensation covers injuries at work. So you might think if you were there and it happened, you're covered. And conversely, you might think if you're off the clock or even off the employer's location, you might think that an injury you suffer isn't covered by workers' compensation. And both are not necessarily true. So even if you were injured or hurt at work, you still have to prove that you got hurt because of work. And if you were injured outside of work or off the clock, you might still be covered if you were injured because of work. So one big example of these are assaults. Assaults aren't covered if you get hurt during an assault, someone attacks you because of an off-work or non-work dispute. Say you and your coworker know each other outside of work and get into an argument outside of work, and then all of a sudden the coworker attacks you at work because of that argument you had outside of work. So let's say, for example, you're at a picnic or you meet each other at Target and you accidentally cut that person off, or you take the last item at Target and they want it, and there's a little bit of a struggle and you get it. And the next day at work, you're there and this coworker clocks you at work. Probably not going to be covered under workers' compensation, even though you were assaulted at work. If the reason for the dispute was because of something that occurred outside of work, isn't going to be covered under workers' compensation. But as always, there's an exception. So let me give you an exception where a dispute outside work results in an assault in work, still covered. So a classic example, unfortunately, is in stalking cases. Let's say, for example, you break up with your boyfriend, and your boyfriend is one of these weird stalker dudes who starts to menace you, starts to become really physically abusive. Maybe you even get a court order, restraining order, saying they can't be around you. And you even move, and this boyfriend comes to your work because he knows that's where you are, and you were targeted because you were at work because that's where he knew you would be. In that case, even though the assault was completely private, because you were targeted at work because that's where they knew to find you, now we're back into workers' compensation. So it can get complicated. Another example is coming and going to work versus being in a parking lot. So let's go from you haven't even clocked in, you're in the building, you're in the elevator, and the elevator malfunctions and you're injured in the elevator. Not at work, specifically, you haven't punched in, you're not on the clock, and you're not in the office per se, but you're in the building. Is that going to be covered? Absolutely. Let's back it up. Let's say you're in the parking lot and you slip and fall coming into the building or going out of the building, and is that going to be covered? Chances are it's going to be, particularly if you are required to park in a particular zone. Okay. Now, let's say you are in your car, you haven't yet parked, but you're in the parking lot going to the place where they've told you you can park. You get into an accident. Is that covered under work comp? Absolutely. Let's say you're not in the parking lot, you're driving to work, or you're leaving home from work, you've left the parking lot, you get into an accident. Is that going to be covered? No, because there's no causal relation. Just getting into that parking lot will get you in there. Except, again, if one of the big things that I'd like you to know is there's always exceptions to these rules. These things are what we call really fact dependent, meaning one little fact can change everything around. Let's say you're in a company truck. Let's say you are required to bring your car to work because part of your job is to drive to the post office to deliver mail or to drop off packages or to pick up packages. And so you have to bring your car to work. Then there's enough of that causal relationship to make even coming and going to work covered under workers' compensation. Another example, what's something called personal comfort doctrine. Okay, so if you're at work, you aren't always working at the job. There are going to be some times when you take breaks for your personal comfort. You have to go get water. You have to go get coffee. You have to go to the restroom, and you get injured doing that. Is that going to be covered? Yes, because there's enough of a causal relationship between that and work. In other words, nobody hires anybody to do any job and thinks that they are going to be 100% on the clock. There's going to be some reasonable small little break for what's called personal comfort. And if someone gets injured during personal comfort, that is going to be included. The last example that I would give you to show you where something could happen at work but not necessarily covered, and that is you've got to prove that something at work caused it. In other words, it's not good enough if you're just standing there and all of a sudden you feel pain in your back that, okay, it's covered under work comp. Because what was happening at work to make you start to hurt? And if you can't show it, if there's nothing there, then chances are it's not going to be covered. And so you've always got to show that something at work caused the problem. Something at work caused the condition to happen. Because if you can't connect work with the injury, chances are it's going to get denied, even though nobody disputes you started hurting at work. Hope this tells you that if you or a member of your family needs help with a work injury in Colorado, please get in touch with us. We help our clients on what's called a contingent fee basis, which means we don't get paid unless we're successful in getting our clients what they deserve. So call us, text us, go to our website. Our initial consultations are free and confidential. We'll give you peace of mind when you know your rights. And with that, thank you for spending part of your day with me.